Hi, I want to talk about what's happening right now. I saw a meme the other day, and it was the picture of a metronome. And one side of the metronome said, "We are so fucked." And the other side of the metronome said, "A new world is struggling to be born." I laughed. I laughed because it was funny, obviously. But I also laughed because it's deeply true. We are living at a time of two parallel, simultaneous realities. On one hand, things are disintegrating, and disintegrating right in front of our eyes. On the other hand, at the same time, if you're sensitive to the deeper dynamics going on, you also realize that new things are trying to emerge and are emerging. There's a word chaotic, which has to do with the order that comes out of chaos, and we're living in a chaotic time. There is chaos, but out of that chaos can emerge a new, higher, and better order. But that will only happen if we ourselves bring it forth. The chaos of this time can be very tempting. Cynicism, anger, frustration, and I think with what's going on politically, even fear. But we must be strong enough to know that this is what happens in times of phase transition like this. And we have to be as convicted behind the images and the realities and the effectuation of the world that we want, as some people are convicted and committed to what many of us see as very undemocratic forces. Yes, on one hand, for instance, the Republican National Convention, if you look at their platform and you look at signs that they were passing out last night, they're calling for mass deportation. Now, mass deportation, the very idea, first of all, you have millions of people living in the shadows who do not wish to live in the shadows. And there are millions of people who have been living in this country for years. They contribute to the economy. They have families. They don't wish to be living in the shadows, but our immigration laws make it so that they have to. Is somebody going to say that that person has to leave because they are not citizens? And if that is the case, we're talking about millions of children who are going to be waking up every morning terrified, traumatized at the idea that they're going to go to school today. Mommy or daddy, or both, might not be back, still at the house when they come back. They might not arrive tonight, and that child wouldn't necessarily know where mommy and daddy are going. If you start talking about mass deportations, if they go anywhere near such a draconian reality, you're going to be talking about people hiding friends in their basements. And we know, or at least you should know, the historical precedents for something like that. So I think in the presence of all of this chaos that we are experiencing, and when you think about some of these things that are being presented as possibilities, Project 2025 and so forth, giving prosecutorial immunity to the chief executive so that anything, that's a perfect example. If Trump said we're going to have these mass deportations, and he said that it's an official act, well, now that the Supreme Court has said you get criminal immunity, you couldn't be prosecuted for such as that, then the most horrifying things could happen. You could have, he would use the military, and if the military is not enough, he would use local law enforcement. We're going to go seeking out people that you think need to be deported. And then no matter what the abuse, no matter what the human rights abuse, it could be a complete overturning of constitutional protections in terms of the military coming into your home or the police coming into your home. But the president could say, well, it's an official act. I had to do it. Because those people are, what, taking your jobs? They're not taking your jobs. Huge corporations who are eliminating jobs. This is not about immigrants taking jobs. If you want immigrants to come in here and to make it so that that does not depress wages, that's called unions. Support unions, and you support higher wages. And yes, you could easily look and say, oh my God, we're fucked. But you can make another decision and say, we can leap to something better than ever, but not if we're neutral. There's no such thing as being neutral right now. You're either part of the proactive, energetic, loving effort to make things a whole lot better, or we are allowing our energy to be used in the service of forces that would create a lot of damage, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And I think it's that we must find within ourselves the place where we fiercely find that intolerable. I do, and I hope that you do too. There's a lot for us to do, but let's be aligned with all that is good and committed and convicted. And we can make it happen.